It's evident to me by our birth, how we come into this realm, that change is the thing that's constant here. It's very evident, you know. We start as a drop of blood, semen, drop of blood. From that we come from an embryo, we form into a fetus, we have a baby, we're an infant, we go through adolescence, teen years, adulthood. Then we go back to being the elder. And we transition back up. You know, we come out of a hole and go back into a hole. Very interesting. You know, change. It's very interesting, and it's very obvious. Not even interesting. It's very obvious that change is a must for the human experience. So for those of us that when we get in resistance, we get in these phases and moments of resisting our change, we suffer because of that. And the suffrage it's even intended. It's a part of your growing lessons here on earth. It's a part of our growing lessons here on earth. So we suffer when we resist that change, which is so very obvious. You know, it says in the science books that our cells are changing every second. Everything is just constantly moving. So the idea that we are supposed to be the same for our entire existence is just crazy. Even just to get stuck, even though that being stuck is intended. And when I speak of things in my video, I also know for a fact and understand, fully grasp that everything is intended. You know, we have cycles and seasons in our lives for our elevation and all that good stuff. You know, so if some people come here to be extremely elevated, some people come here to be extremely dumb. That's an experience. But you know, hold on, let me try to catch that thought. Just the idea to think that we are supposed to be the same all the time and not change, that's very crazy. And it's a fight against your own natural ticking clock. It's a fight even against that. You know, we didn't know how to walk initially coming here. So we had to learn to crawl. Then we had to learn how to walk. The way that the human physical body takes to learn itself and to maneuver itself around, that same thing, for me, I actually applied it to life. Okay, I didn't know how to do this, or I wanted to know this. So I focused on this until I mastered it. Change it's a part of the human experience in order for one to really tap into self, is what I should say. I'm not one to ever really run from experiences. I'm very attracted to people with wild eyes. It's always, that's like they raising their hand and saying, hey, 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 and I'm saying, hey, I'm coming. So I'm those experience. I'm attracted to certain things because I know they're for my evolution. They are something that my spirit has said, hey, I want to experience that, and I get this feeling in the inside. It's like how we can feel truth. It's that same kind of feeling. But to resist that change makes one's life very difficult. And I mean, think about your own life when you were resisting change, a new season that came up in your life and you resisted it. How were you affected mentally and in your actual physical? It's always a gnat in here. It's always a gnat in here. Just get on my nerves. Yeah, let me keep going and stay on the subject. Change my attitude real quick. But just think about your own life when you resisted that change that you know was needed, that you could hear your intuition saying, let's do this. How were you? How did that work out for you? How did it work out for you? Change is a part of who we are. It's a part of our beautiful chameleons. And when I say chameleon, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as a term of endearment, because we are all chameleons. Like I say, look how we began. Look how our evolution into becoming this right here began. We're all beautiful chameleons. Change is a part of that. And I mean, just to resist it, it blocks us off from shades of us. It blocks us. It gets in the way of us having experiences. It gets in the way of a different understanding. It just really puts you in your way. Everywhere you turn, it's like a body bag dropping in front of you, just boom, 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 because you don't want to. You're resisting what is actually natural. You're resisting what's actually natural. Yeah, resistance is a big thing. It's a big thing, and it stops so many dead in their tracks. It's like that train that gets stuck on the railroad track, and it'll be there for hours sometime. Oh, we got some of those in Houston. They'll sit about an hour, you know what I'm saying? So that's what that resistance is about. But when you let go and stop resisting, that's a freeing experience. If you ever thought about how does a bird feel to fly, think about that as no resistance. You know, use your imagination and think about that. That's how it feels to not have the resistance and to get in the flow of change, to enjoy meeting the new shades of you. You know, being introduced to the things that's in your superconscious, that's in your subconscious, then becoming aware of your conscious moves. And it's like change, it's a part of who you are. It's natural. It's natural. And, you know, I think majority of the world have been kind of taught to resist it. In some cases by others, and then in some cases it's because of their own innate fears. And I think that is even so natural. To get over fear is even a part of the change. And to get over the fears, the inner fears that we have that we don't tell anybody about, those are like personal accomplishments. So that change, it has to happen in order for you to meet you, in order for you to elevate, in order for you to feel what unconditional love of self feels like, what self-preservation feels like, what love feels like, what love looks like. It can't resist you. And resisting change, resisting change and just being in resistance itself is like putting you in a straitjacket with a muzzle in your mouth. You can't turn your head, or you're just stuck to something. You can't, immobile. So don't resist you. You need you. You got some keys for you. Go get them.